You're Sperp back with another video, and I just got out of watching the first Omen. This is a prequel to The Omen, the old 70s classic. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Omen movies or the franchise as a whole, so my knowledge doesn't go past like the first one. I know they made a remake back in '06, and that was just completely like not well received. Now you have this prequel, which, a lot of people are kind of turned off from the whole religious horror because of movies like The Nun. There's just been like a lot of religious horror that has come and went. None of them have really stuck, especially like the franchise religious horror, like The Exorcist didn't do well. And I know a lot of people are going to probably skip out on this, but I will say, yeah, I could see why they almost got an NC-17 rating, because there are some really graphic things in this movie for sure. I appreciate the practical effects. They don't go super digital and give you some CGI mess, even though I will say there's like one scene, but it doesn't like take away from my overall enjoyment. But I really like this movie. If you've seen Immaculate, it's very similar to that, almost identical in a lot of cases, mixed with like the Nun movies a little bit. So definitely some similarities that could be a hindrance or like an issue or a con for some people, or a nitpick. It didn't really bother me. It's all about how you execute it, because a lot of horror movies, are rinse and repeat, especially like these ones that turn into these franchises. They all have a signature formula. I'm not that keen on the Omen franchise, like I said, but I like what they did here. They set it up. We have our main character, Margaret. She's becoming a nun, giving herself to God. Very much reminiscent of the Nun Part 2 kind of plot. I like the unsettledness that this movie has from the jump, like giving you the explanation of this Antichrist being and stuff like that. Very eerie atmosphere throughout this whole entire movie, and I feel like that's the one thing that has always been a thing for the Omen movies. They're not really known for like their scary moments. It's just more uncomfortable, unsettling, graphic kind of scenes. That's what I got from the first Omen, and you definitely kind of get a lot of that style brought into the modern day with this prequel. So of course, as Margaret, pays attention and she stays here, it starts off really well. She's getting along with all the different nuns. She has this one roommate that, she kind of likes to dabble in both worlds. She gets a little taste of that when she goes out to the club, but everything is kind of mapped out, and it's unknowing to her kind of knowledge. What I'm saying? When you start to see the connections, it's just like, damn, it's way more connected than you think, and things start to just take a turn when we're introduced to this little girl that goes by the name of Carlita, and she's kind of the focus, or the character that people kind of stay away from, or the character that Margaret kind of pays attention to the most, because she feels like she's dealing with some type of abuse or something has happened to her, so she just kind of just sticks close to her. Now, my original thoughts with this is like, I thought this was going to be the prequel setting up like the nanny or something like that, but they really dive into just how Damien came to be, and it's very fascinating. Like I said, if you've seen Immaculate, you can kind of see where I'm going with this, or see where they're going with this movie, and I think it adds to an interesting kind of change of mythos to Damien and whatnot. Like I said, I haven't seen the Omen 2 or 3 or something like that, like the ones that came after the Omen 1. Now I want to kind of go revisit it to kind of see if it connects to this prequel, or is this them kind of doing their own thing? Because, like I said, that ending kind of leaves a lot of questions. And it also is interesting and intriguing to me as well, the process on which they had to try to find this Antichrist. Overall, I thought this was a solid horror movie. It's not, you're not going to go in here to be scared, but it's just more disturbing and unsettling, like, atmosphere. It's very psychological. It's very trippy, very graphic. You know what I'm saying? It's not trying to hit you with a bunch of cheap jump scares, which I really appreciate them not going too crazy with there's like probably like a couple of jump scares, but some you might find effective, other ones you might find to be generic. But I like the story. I like the performance from our main lead, Margaret. I think her performance overall just carries this whole entire movie, from where you see her in the beginning of the film and then her going through this like transformation. And it's like, man, I gotta see her in more horror movies and stuff, because she definitely will give Sydney Sweeney a run for her money as far as being the next big scream queen. But let me know how you feel about this. Did you enjoy this movie? Do you think this was a good prequel to the Omens? If you're a fan of this franchise, let me know your thoughts of it in the comments below. Or did you feel like this was just bland, unnecessary, just not that well made of a horror movie, and just didn't really care for it? It did nothing for you. Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.